Welcome to the Stop Over Drinking and Start Living podcast, where high-achieving, goal-oriented rebel women come to learn how to live a vibrant and fulfilling life without requiring alcohol to get through it. No labels, no judgments, no saying you'll never drink again. Just real proven methods to help you stop rebelling against yourself with alcohol so you can drink less and do more. I'm your host, Angela Mascenik. Let's dig in. I want a sugar. I know you like it. Welcome to episode 372. I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. Well, hello. Welcome back to the podcast. How are you all? I am here in Lisbon, Portugal again, making great progress on building out the Magic House Retreat Center. And it's been very exciting. Things are moving forward. I'm here with Coach Steph actually, and we had to do some market research on some activities, and we may have had to do some market research on a spa to make sure it was good enough to host my groups for their welcome massages. And we may have found a really awesome place that we'll be taking everybody to. And it's all coming together. So lots of shopping and having art framed and meeting with local artists and trying new spaces and food and hiking and exploring. And it's just so fun. So, and also working together with like the painters in the Magic House and the designers in the Magic House and the landlords of the building and moving the whole dream forward. And there has been a lot of progress in a short amount of time. So I'm super excited about what is going to be happening here at the Magic House Retreat Center in Lisbon, Portugal. And if you haven't heard, I have 3 spots left for my May 2026 retreat here in Lisbon, and they are in a shared room. So there's one shared room with 2 beds and then one open bed in another shared room that's still available. So we're going to put that link up in the show notes. Please check it out. You do not want to miss what will be happening at the Magic House. And you don't have to be sober, but we won't be drinking on the retreat. So you have to feel comfortable going 7 days without alcohol and not drinking on an airplane on the way to the Magic House. And so when we're at the Magic House, what we do is we take care of everything. I'm working on caterers and personal chefs, and all the food is taken care of according to your dietary preferences and desires. You don't have to plan anything. You know, I am working with local tour guides and local businesses and all these things that I am doing all of the planning, right? And I know what is good and what is not because I'm actually going to these places in my area and trying them and exploring them. And there's going to be a lot of spaciousness for you to have some downtime. And we're going to have some deep coaching sessions, and we're going to do some yoga, and we're going to get some movement in, and we're going to create a really beautiful space for you to not have to worry about any of the life stuff so that you can let the magic that needs to come out inside of you come out, right? So if you have ideas that are percolating, if you're in a transitional period of your life where maybe you're thinking about retirement, or maybe you've gone through a big life change and you're trying to explore what's next, or maybe you just need to get clear on what it's like to not drink and feel alive and do different activities so that you can get a sense of what it could be like and get some hope infused into you that you can do this long term. Whatever it is, this Magic House retreat is going to let whatever magic needs to come out of you for you to see clearly and have some fun and to connect with other like-minded women in a beautiful, safe, eclectic space in Lisbon. So highly encourage you to check these last spots out. We do have a couple more spots later in the year in November. I think 1 spot left there. And then in 2027, I think there's 1 spot left. So these founder spots are going, and once they're gone, they're gone. And then the price goes up, and the actual Magic House Retreat Center will be a fully operating retreat center, and everything will be set. So if you're curious about retreating with me, please go check it out. We put the link in the show notes. If you've ever gone on a retreat, retreating is something that I highly recommend. I go on retreats myself. I was on a retreat when I came to the idea of the Magic House. They're just really good places for you to work on things and not have to worry about things or plan things. Everything is taken care of for you. And you get to experience new places and try new things and meet new people, which is really fun. All right, my friends. Well, today I want to talk about, really, I hear from all of you is I know what to do, but I'm not doing it. So instead of thinking about it all the time, there's not a lot of action. Okay, so if you've been listening to podcasts or reading books, or maybe you're working with me in a live AF or something like that, and you attend coaching calls and you're reading all the things and you do all this stuff, but you're not actually applying what I'm teaching, this episode is for you. Okay. So also I want you to know this is very, very common. There's nothing wrong with you if you recognize you're like, yep, that's me. I know exactly what to do, but I'm not doing it. You're in good company. Okay. This is a normal thing that people experience. And, we're going to dive into it here a little bit. So what's really happening is just getting aware, how many podcast episodes have you listened to? How many books have you read? How many times have you journaled about why you do it? Or maybe you're doing your reflections and evaluations and you see your patterns very clearly. And yet still you pour your drinks, right? This isn't because there's something wrong with you, okay? And you're not in denial. You're understanding your drinking, but changing your drinking are two completely different processes that are happening in your brain. So your awareness and your understanding of your drinking is different than actually changing your drinking. So I'm going to help you understand what's happening in your brain a little bit more, and why my stop, notice, process technique works, because that's not a thinking technique. That works when thinking harder isn't actually helping you. Okay. So you have two parts to your brain. I talk about this all the time. I talk about your primitive brain and like the higher part of your brain, your prefrontal cortex, right? So your thinking brain is that brain, that's the prefrontal cortex that is in charge of planning, logic, reasoning. You can think about the future, you can make goals, you can reflect on things, right? And then you have that lower part of your brain, your primitive brain, which I call it, which is where your habits live, your emotional brain. You take quick action. It's automatic, right? It's protective. It's like you don't have to think about it. It just happens. So alcohol lives in that lower part of your brain, in the more of the automatic system. That relationship with alcohol is where that lives, okay? So at 10 a.m., the higher part of your brain, that prefrontal cortex, is thinking, I don't want to drink tonight. And then at 6 p.m., the lower part of your brain, which is where your nervous system is and your emotions, is I need relief, right? So that's that lower part of your brain. So there's different systems going on here, and each one has different priorities. So the insight that you have strengthens your smart brain, the higher part of your brain, and the action of drinking strengthens that habit part of your brain, the lower part of your brain. Okay. There's all sorts of things like the routine and the patterns that we have and share, right? So we have the end of the workday, we have making dinner, we have maybe you're feeling underappreciated, maybe it's a Friday night, the weekend type thing, maybe being alone is one of them. And as a reminder, our dopamine, like that hormone that is released when that wants us to take action, right? So it's like that feel good dopamine. That actually happens before you drink. So that gets you to take action. So it spikes, that dopamine spikes and goes up at anticipation of the drink, right? So that is what gets you into action. It's not actually after you drink, after you get consumption, right? So once you drink, your brain is going into like that. You're sort of coating your nervous system with the alcohol, and it like you feel a little bit softer. The dopamine is what gets you to go there. Okay, so by the time you're debating whether to drink or not, your dopamine has already been released, and that's why it can feel really hard, because you're fighting against that dopamine release. And that's like that white knuckling, like, no, I can't drink. But you've already, like, that process has already started because your brain has prompted you to go do that habit. Okay, so you're interrupting an already activated neural pattern. So emotional avoidance and like not being willing to feel that is why we keep drinking, right? So this is what I talk about all the time. It's like, now it's time to apply it. Now go feel your urges, do the stop notice process, right? You can't think your way out of this. Right? Like, this is why, like, when you're activated, your dopamine's already released, you already want it, your brain is already firing off thoughts about it, right? Like, you're probably like, your brain is prioritizing that primitive emotional system. It's not prioritizing your thinking, the prefrontal cortex. Your brain is already flooded with the feelings. Are you following me? Okay. So in that moment, you want to pause and just say, what do I not want to feel here? Is it stress? Is it loneliness? Is it boredom? Is it resentment? What is it? Restlessness, emptiness? Alcohol is going to regulate that first. Okay, so your brain is trying to prioritize that emotional relief over your long-term goals, or even just your goals of that day. It's just like, you have to, it's almost like visualize your brain pumping out chemicals in that moment, right? That you're normally drinking or you're thinking about drinking, right? Over long-term planning. It's like in the moment need. Okay, so it's prioritizing and prompting you over your goals. And this is always the way it's going to happen. It's just the way humans are wired. So you recognize you're not drinking because you don't know better. You know better, right? You're drinking because you want relief from those feelings. Make sense? And so just knowing a little bit more science around this, you know that your brain is always going to prioritize the relief, because we're literally programmed to seek pleasure and avoid pain. And your brain associates not drinking when you have those feelings with pain. And so it's prioritizing the pleasure. And so it's releasing the dopamine and it's driving your action to go drink. Okay? So under stress, at the end of the day, when you're more stressed, you're more exhausted, you've exhausted all of your resources, that threat, right, that emotional threat system turns up, and your reasoning system, that higher part of your brain, turns down. So that exact moment when you need the insight and all of the learning to come in is when it's least accessible. Okay? That's what explains this, I know better, but I do it anyway. Right? This is just neurobiology. So what actually changes behavior? So this is where we talk about, and I, really try to like drill in the importance of learning how to feel your feelings, right? And being in your body and doing the stop notice process. So this is the difference, is like knowing and doing. I know what to do, but then there's the doing part of it. Okay, so this is how we're going to get there. Stopping and noticing and process is not thinking harder. It's slowing down, becoming aware that you are in that pattern enough for you to recognize what's happening for you emotionally and in your nervous system. So literally we do this. We stop. You stop doing what you're doing. You physically pause. So putting the glass down if you're in the midst of pouring it or drinking it, right? And you're not moving forward. You're not going to take another step. If you're walking across your kitchen to go get the glass of wine, you stop, right? If you're driving home from work and you're walking into your house, you stop, you interrupt. So this disruption interrupts this automatic pattern, right? So then you notice. So physically stop what you're doing. Then you notice. What is happening internally? This is what you ask yourself. What's happening? What am I feeling right now? Where do I feel this in my body? What urge is present? What story might I be telling? So that noticing and like becoming the observer of your feeling is very, very powerful. And so when you do that, you're now activating that higher part of your brain when you become the observer and have awareness here. Okay? And so you're reducing automatic responding by just noticing and stopping. So even if that's all you get, you're still breaking the cycle because you're slowing things down. Okay? You're teaching your brain a new pattern. You're going to observe yourself instead of just automatically go pour the glass of wine. Okay. So all of the mindfulness research shows that observing the urges without reacting, no matter what habit you're trying to break, weakens that reward over time. So the reward prediction is that release of the dopamine, just as a reminder. And when you pause and feel instead of drink, you're actually building distress tolerance. You're building your emotional capabilities, right? This is it's like your tolerance, right? Your resiliency. I talk about that a lot. Your resiliency. So like you're resilient when you can be uncomfortable more often, right? Even in difficult situations, even when you're stressed. So you're teaching your brain that discomfort is survivable, that you don't need a numbing agent when you feel this way. And then with that, you're rewiring your habit loop. You're breaking it down, you're breaking that pattern, and then you're rewiring. Okay? And this is why you can't think your way out of it. You have to feel your way out of it. Okay? You have to be present in the moment of those feelings. And it's wonderful to have insight. It's wonderful to gain awareness. You have to have both. You have to have insight to be willing to change, right? And to see your patterns. And you also have to equally build the practice of stopping, noticing, and processing. That's actually what creates the change. Okay? So listening, reading, watching, all of that stuff is passive. Pausing and stopping and noticing and processing, that's an active change. And you need both. So, and we need to repeat these things under real conditions. So this is when, like, go out and apply this in your real life, right? That's when the real change is going to happen. Real change is going to happen by listening and reading and watching. Although you do need to read and listen and watch and write. Okay? The brain creates habits by doing, as we know, right? You didn't get to this drinking habit that you have by watching other people drink and reading about drinking. You got here by doing the drinking, right? And so we have to undo it by doing the not drinking. The brain is going to rewire that through experience. Okay? So you don't need more information. You need to actually practice now. So if you understand your drinking, but you haven't changed it yet, or maybe you're just like, you maybe have some stops and starts going on, or maybe it's good for a couple days, we just need more practice. It doesn't mean that there's anything wrong with you. It just, like, you're all up in your head and you need to be in your body more when you interrupt those emotional stress response systems, right? That lower part of your brain. Okay? It's not extreme. It's small. It's repeatable. We want to do this more often than not. And that's it, right? And so this is exactly what I help my clients do. If you work with me privately, I can help you see how to do this in real time. I can guide you through processing your feelings in real time so that you are feeling less scared, so that when the rubber hits the road and you're having urges, you know that you can figure this out and that you've done that with somebody in a safe way before. I love teaching people about their feelings, helping them process their feelings, helping them feel safe around that. That's the deeper work we can do in private coaching and on my retreats in real time. So if you're interested in that, we're going to put the link in the show notes as well. But just remember, stop thinking about it and start doing. If you keep having the thought, I know what to do, but I'm not doing it, you need to learn how to get into your body, go through the stop, notice, and process as I explained in this episode. All right, my beautiful friends. All right, we'll talk to y'all soon. Bye for now.